1-15 team takes a running back. You just took your franchise quarterback. You had a running back. And I'd be pissed if I was a Jacksonville fan. I love that, talking about Green Bay. He'll never find out. Believe me, nobody knows better what it looks like when an organization is about to go to shit than a New York Jet fan. And Justin Fields proved that he can hold it together. He can regroup. It's okay if he struggles. And we got a big game against the Eagles, and maybe you need some energy, so wake up! We have every right to expect the Jets to win. Rich Cimini, schmuck, putz.
Welcome to NFL Chaos with Jeremy for our prediction show, Week 16. And look who's back. It's Jacob Bartley from the fantasy sports world. Remind them of the exact name of your site, since I'm so bad at that.
First Round Fantasy. We just had an episode earlier tonight. It is an ugly year for fantasy, I'll tell you that, with all the COVID stuff going on and all the injuries. But hey, just like your channel, fantasy football is chaotic. It's chaos, man.
I'm actually going to need your help, because all I know is I know about the Jets and how many players they're missing, but I don't know about all the other teams. So I'll let you go first on a lot of the picks, because I'm going to need some information on who's playing and who's not playing.
The funny thing is, a lot of it is still pending. It's like, for example, a big impact on this matchup with the Chiefs and Steelers. Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are on the COVID-19 list, but we don't know yet if they're going to play. So there's a lot of stuff like that.
My God, that's torture for fantasy, man. That's like, I didn't even look at my team yet. Jeez, I got to make decisions. All right. Well, that's why I watched your show, and that's why I watched my friend John's show. It helps me out, and I get that kind of valuable information. Okay, so we're going to start with San Francisco at Tennessee.
San Francisco at Tennessee. So Look, I'm wearing my Niners hat. I wanted to show some Niners love because we got a game tomorrow, but today, because you're posting the video on Thursday. But I got to go with the 49ers, and it's not my homerism. They've been playing really well. If you watch any sports channel, a lot of people are saying nobody wants to play the 49ers right now, just because they're in the zone, and the Titans haven't been playing well. And I know it's in Tennessee, but there's not. AJ Brown's going to be back for the Tennessee Titans. It's looking like he's going to be back as long as he doesn't have any setbacks in practice. The Niners are basically a full go. They're Elijah Mitchell, they're starting running backs out, but it's the type of offense where you just put any guy in there and they perform. So, yeah, I'm going to go 49ers.
All right. Niners have been my team the last few weeks. I'm rolling with them each week ever since Kittle's back. Now Deebo Samuel, I love those two weapons. I covered with watch parties. I've covered the last two games with San Francisco. I've had a great time. Man, do I love Kittle. I'd love to have him on my team. And I also noticed this guy Key on defense, who seems to get 50 sacks a game. They're on fire. They're rolling right now. 100%. Tennessee is going to, I think they just they're able to, survive without Henry, but these are the kind of games where they get exposed without him. These kind of games, Tannehill, this is where he's going to struggle not having that running back threat. So, yeah, I'm absolutely with you with San Francisco. Let's move on to Indianapolis at Arizona, which is very interesting. Go ahead.
That is a tough one, especially because we saw what happened to the Cardinals against the Lions this last week. So, and the Colts are actually a really good football team. And look, we were texting about it the other night. Jonathan Taylor, this man is an MVP candidate. I'm telling you, him and Cooper Kupp better get MVP votes this year for real football. And yeah, I think the Cardinals are kind of falling apart. I think the absence of DeAndre Hopkins, who's out for the rest of the year, it's not that he was playing well. It's that just his presence opens up the rest of the offense. And I don't think that's their only problem, but considering how good the Colts and Jonathan Taylor are playing, look what they did to the Patriots last week. I gotta go with the Colts again. Yeah, over the Cardinals.
I think it makes a tremendous difference, because without the threat of Hopkins, you could stack the box, and you could spy Murray, and you could neutralize his running game a little bit, because you don't have to keep guys back and double cover, and an unstoppable receiver.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm all over Indianapolis. I mean, they're like my San Francisco, the AFC version of San Francisco and the NFC. That's the team you don't want to play. This team, offensive line, running game usually doesn't have slumps, and they're in a position, unless you're sleeping, unless you are having a down week, but they are not in a position to have a down week because they're playing for their lives, and it's just an amazing offensive line, an amazing running game, an amazing running back, and an amazing defense with a defender that just seems to be the best player I've ever seen at punching the ball out. So I'm going to roll with Indianapolis just like I'm rolling with San Francisco.
Absolutely. Hey, and if we get those two right, I believe, I don't know what their matchups have been this year, but I think the Colts would take first place in the AFC South.
Wow.
If that happens. I mean, they both be 9-6, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay, I like the Colts. I've been watching them on HBO. It's hard not to get attached to some of the players.
Oh yeah.
We got Baltimore at Cincinnati. I think that Baltimore is struggling and Cincinnati is bubbling at the right time. And I think Cincinnati right now, I'm going to keep rolling with them. Just unless you tell me there's some injuries that I'm overlooking.
No, nothing crazy. I mean, if anything, it'll go in favor of your matchup is that we don't know if Lamar Jackson's going to play. Look, his backup, Tyler Huntley, went toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers last week, but I'm not expecting that every week from him if he plays. Even if Lamar does play, they haven't looked the same. And we picked them to win at least when we first started doing this, and they made us look bad.
Yeah.
But so I actually have, I make all my predictions before the show, and I got to stick to them. So even if you changed my mind and chose the Ravens, I would still have to go with the Bengals on this one.
and you got to also respect the fact that they're at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Buffalo and New England. Man, this is a fun game. This is a great game. I'm gonna say that Buffalo returns the favor and gets the win here. I am, and they're such a disappointment to their talent, but I don't think they're getting swept. I think that, I just can't imagine them getting swept in this divisional rivalry. I think they're here to make a statement, and I think that I just think I have to go with them. I think that I just have this gut feeling that Buffalo I just can't see them dropping down to 8 what would it be, 8-7? I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
And look, I'm going with the Bills too. And I believe we chose the Bills last time, or at least I did. And
yeah, we did.
The thing is, we weren't looking at weather reports leading up to that game. And we talked about this. Is if we would have known the weather situation, we might have leaned Patriots, but there's not going to be any wind problems for this game, as far as we know. And Josh Allen is the man. And look, the Patriots aren't invincible. We saw that last week against the Colts. So this is a divisional game. It's literally the fight for first place. So I'm going with the Bills, and I just believe in Josh Allen.
Yeah, I think the variable of the win favored New England because of coaching, but in a straight up game and with regular conditions, yeah, definitely Buffalo. New York at Philadelphia. I'm not counting on the Giants winning another game this year. It's an easy one for me. I'm going with the Eagles.
Yeah, I agree. And the Eagles are going to run all over the Giants. They're in Philadelphia. Got to go Eagles.
Yeah. And then we move on to the Rams at Houston.
It's the Chargers at Houston.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what?
Yeah. It's LA though. It's LA.
They got to do LA and the little icons when it's shrunk down. It's
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So the Bolts at the Texans. I'm going Chargers on this one. Obviously, I mean, it's Justin Herbert.
It didn't make a difference which LA team it was. I was going with LA. So.
Yeah. Look, did you see? I was about to go into some type of analysis, but I'm like, wait a minute. No, none needed.
Yeah, if you're watching this and you need analysis of why we're going with LA, well, I guess it's good you're watching the show for other games. But for this one, we'll just simply say the Chargers are a very good team, and Houston is not a good team.
Yeah, and the Chargers are fighting for playoff seeding, making sure they keep their playoff spot. So I'm going Chargers.
Yeah. Pittsburgh at Kansas City.
Pittsburgh at Kansas City. Now, look, I referenced this earlier in the show. Patrick Mahomes is great on his own, right? He can make other lesser receivers look good, but a lot of his success has to be due to Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. To one of the best tight ends in the game, one of the best wide receivers in the game. They're both currently on the COVID-19 list. Now, I believe so. If you're vaccinated, you can come back quicker. And I've heard that Kelsey's vaccinated. I believe Hill is as well. So they could both return. So you have to keep an eye on it. And that's why this one's so tough, because that's a huge factor. It's not just one of them, it's both of them.
It's everything.
But look, we got to make the pick. We got to stick with it regardless of what happens. And I think Patrick Mahomes can still get it done, even if he's missing his two best weapons. I'm going with the Chiefs.
I was going to ask you if you texted your friend Sean, because when I went with Pittsburgh, I didn't disagree with him that this is going to be the year they go under 500 because of their schedule. But he didn't love my pick of picking them to win last week, and they won. I'm going to gamble and say that those two are not going to play. And to me, the Steelers are all about a guy named Watt.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go, might regret this. I'm going to say Pittsburgh finds a way again, because if Hill and Kelsey were both playing, I love Kansas City. They're on fire. No, I want to say that, no question about it. But with those two out, I say Mahomes is going to have to hold the ball longer, and the Pittsburgh defense will rise. The steel curtain will.
All right, we have our first difference this time around. That'll be interesting.
We got Washington at Dallas, and by the way, I'm picking a 7.5 point underdog when I pick Pittsburgh.
That's crazy. But hey, if they pull it off, you're gonna look like a genius.
Yeah. Well, with Dallas, Washington, I am not going to go with the underdog. I'm going to take Dallas at home. This is the time when they got to start rolling. They got to get their seed, their highest seed. They can't keep being on the road. They can't, you know what I mean? These guys need to do everything they can to get the best seed possible and put themselves in a great position. So they're playing for a lot. And although Washington will always play them tough as a division rival, backup quarterbacks and that kind of thing, their quarterback situation in Dallas, just not liking it. So I'm just going to roll with Dallas.
Yeah, you know what I love about the now being 7 teams in the playoffs is that there's only one bye week now. And that means all these teams at the top, even if there was 2, they'd be fighting for that second bye. But all these teams at the top, the Cowboys, the Cardinals, the Buccaneers, they're all trying to catch the Packers for that number 1 seed. And so even though they're 10-4 and they're likely going to make the playoffs, they're still fighting every game trying to get that number 1 seed because there's still a chance for them. So that being said, the Cowboys are going to smack the Washington. Yeah. Washington needs a team name. Are they finally getting one next year? We'll see.
Did I give them a name, or did I say Washington?
No, I was going to say the something, but they're the football team.
Okay, sometimes I accidentally say the old name. So.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
I wasn't going to say the old name, but I was like ready to say a nickname, but yeah.
It's rough, man. You know, I'm an old guy my whole life. So it's hard to let go.
I know it is. Yeah.
Cleveland in Green Bay. I'll let you start with that one, just in case there's any injuries or COVID list people I don't know about.
Yeah. So last week the Browns got decimated by COVID issues, including Baker Mayfield, who's already banged up. He's been banged up all year. So, I mean, honestly, Baker Mayfield doesn't really swing it either way for me. But I do think it is a factor. You want your leader out there. But who did I choose on this one? I'm going Packers either way. Come on. So, yeah, no significant other than those Browns players, there no one significant on the Packers is missing. So yeah, I'm going Packers. It's
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, Rodgers, Lambeau Field. That's all I need.
Exactly.
Packers. Detroit goes into Atlanta, and I am gonna go with Detroit this week. I
Okay.
think that they're riding momentum. I think they got something special going in that locker room, and they're not thinking about the draft like there are a lot of Jet fans, a lot of things going around Twitter about draft pick versus winning meaningless games. I don't think it's meaningless for teams, and I don't think it's meaningless for Detroit. I think this coach is trying to give that team an identity. I think they found something special, and I think for them, it's about winning. They have a lot of holes and needs. They don't have to be in the top 2. They can get Hamilton. They don't have to get edged. They can maybe go for a quarterback, maybe not. Maybe they trade down and get some capital to fill some of those holes. And you could trade down, whether it's the 1 pick, the 2 pick, the 3 pick, the 4 pick. It doesn't matter. You can get in a great haul. So I say Detroit's playing with fire and passion, and I'm going to go with them.
All right, Jeremy, we got our second disagreement here, man. I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons. And look, I believe the Falcons still have, even though they're 6-8, I believe they still have a chance to make the playoffs just because how clustered everything is. So there are a lot of teams, there's still a lot of playoff spots to be had. And the Falcons still have a chance. They're at home. It's Matt Ryan. He's a veteran quarterback. I think, look, this one was the toughest decision, to be honest. When I was looking at all the matchups, it's because it's 2 not so good teams, right? It's not a situation with the Bills and the Patriots why that one's tough. It's on the opposite side of things. So I'm just going to believe in Matt Ryan, and I'm going to go with the Falcons there at home.
All right. I respect that pick. Now we get the Rams. This time I got it right. The LA Rams going into Minnesota. So I'm going to go with the LA Rams and say Cooper Kupp keeps cupping.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got to go with the LA Rams as well. I just think, look, they're a juggernaut. And the Vikings aren't terrible. They play every team tough, but you got to go with the coaching advantage with McVay and just how on fire Cooper Kupp is with Matthew Stafford. I got to go Rams.
Oh, I actually said it wrong. It's actually you with your arms folded laughing at Pale Time and Sean. Is that?
Yeah.
He's nervous about it, though. Pale.
Nice.
He was nervous. He was nervous yesterday as well. We got Jacksonville going into the Jets, and this is actually was not going to be the hardest matchup for me until I found out that there's a list of 15 people on the Jets organization that are on the COVID list, including their head coach, Robert Saleh. In a surprise move, they made Ron Middleton, their tight ends coach, the head coach. Now, I think there's a reason for it. And by the way, he in a press conference, he admitted that he had ran one practice as a head coach. Like it was in his career, and that was, I think, in college. So I think it's because they want their coordinators to focus on their jobs because Saleh lets them call the plays, right? So, and I think that they have a very experienced coach that people are surprised they didn't use in Kavanaugh, who's been around forever. He's been an OC, but Kavanaugh likes to stay with Zach Wilson. So I think that they want that to continue. So I actually think they took a guy that didn't have a huge game time role, like a during the game role, but he's a very calming kind of guy. He's very likable in the press conference. He's from Alabama. He has a nice little Southern drawl. He just seems like an easygoing guy that probably is very, been in the game, been in the NFL forever. So experienced to like make decisions, timeouts, things like that. I think they trust him, obviously. So they went with a guy that they trust. I know I babbled for a long time, but it makes it really hard because the Jets are missing key players. AVT on their offensive line, which is a huge hit. George Fant might not be 100%. The Jets don't have depth on the offensive line. Their receivers are still out. Elijah Moore is out. Corey Davis obviously is out for the season. Mims has been a disaster. It's shocking for me to say, but I think I have to roll with Jacksonville.
Wow, man,
And that was a game I really thought the Jets were going to win all season long. Like, for the last month, I said, at least we're going to beat Jacksonville. But I am not comfortable with the guys that are missing. They're also missing Michael Carter, who's been a very important weapon for them offensively.
Interesting. So prior to coming on, I chose the Jets. So I'm going to stick with my pick, but I did not know that many things were going on with the Jets. So that's interesting. Jeremy, I'm choosing your own team against you. I'm rolling with Jets. I mean, it's tough. This is, no disrespect to either team, but this is a dumpster fire of a matchup, isn't it? With the Jags and the Jets.
Yeah. I mean, right now at this point in both teams' history, like in where they are in their builds, it's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, they were fighting for the number 1 overall pick last year, and they might be doing it again this year. So whoever wins this game is going to probably have a lower pick in the draft. So do they really win or lose?
By the way, you pretty much just guarantee the Jets victory. And it's a long story, but based on like the fact that I went against them and you're going with them, it pretty much guarantees the Jets are going to win.
Well, there you go.
I'm with Jacksonville. I'll take the L, but be joyful for the win. Tampa goes into Carolina. Oof. I'll let you start with that one.
Yeah, I'm looking for this. Okay, Bucks at Panthers. Okay, yeah. Look, so here's another situation. This is kind of like the Chiefs, but for different reasons. Chris Godwin, torn ACL, out for the year. Leonard Fournette, hamstring on IR. He's going to miss the rest of the regular season. Mike Evans always has hamstring issues, but he specifically got banged up last game. He might miss. Antonio Brown might be back, but regardless, either way, we're looking at best. I mean, Mike Evans could play, Antonio Brown could play. Then it's looking a lot different. But either way, honestly, I'm going with the Bucks no matter what. They might have. Look, they're reverting to their backups, right? As far as offensive weapons goes, but I think Tom Brady can get it done. Yeah, and the Panthers are a disaster this year, so I'm going with the Bucks.
I'm two fronts here. There's two different things going on. Okay, I've been a Jet fan for a long time, which means I've been a Jet fan the entire time Tom Brady has been in the league. Tom Brady is like David Banner. You won't like him when he's angry. I've seen it. I've seen him. He's pissed off. I don't care who you stick at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Is Gronk in there? Because Gronk's there.
Yeah, I believe Gronk's going to play. Yeah,
he's got his guy. Yeah, you don't go against Tom Brady after what happened. I feel bad for Carolina. I don't care who he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah. And you know what Tom Brady loves to do? He hears people talking. They put up 0 points last week. He barely did anything. He's going to want to drop 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, and he's going to lead them too. He's in the ear of every one of his players.
Exactly.
And Carolina is, you want to talk about a dumpster fire? They got a head coach who first he crucified Sam Darnold in a press conference and talked about about his throwing the ball up in the air. He was right. I mean, but still, a lot of coaches don't do that about their players.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, okay, well, he's pissed off, right? You can't just toss the ball up in the air and throw interceptions. But then he fired his offensive coordinator. What a great way to decoy, right? And deflect again for him. Blame my offensive coordinator was like the hottest name in coaching last year, Joe Brady.
Exactly.
Right?
So weird.
And then about a day ago, I look and I see an article and I see a whole headline. Now he's throwing Cam Newton under the bus.
Yeah.
And saying Cam Newton is playing poorly.
Mm-hmm.
He's a snake. That's a rat.
Yeah.
Coach.
I think he might be out of there, man. And look, a lot of people, him and Joe Brady were getting a lot of praise last year, even though they weren't very good. I mean, their offense looked good at times, but they weren't. It's not like they were winning a lot of games. So yeah, that's definitely dumpster fire. And they're talking about like Sam Darnold might play again this week. I'm like, what is going on? So no, it's
Sam Darnold against Tampa Bay's offense. That'll go well. I mean, defense, that'll go well.
Yeah, the Bucks are gonna slaughter them, I think.
Yeah.
Regardless of who plays on offense for the Bucks.
Yeah. And that, you know what Matt Rule's done in the NFL? Absolutely nothing. Chicago at Seattle.
Chicago at Seattle. See, this is an interesting one for me, but it's at Seattle. It's, Russell Wilson's still not playing great, but I'm going to go with the Seahawks on this one.
I am going to root as hard for Chicago as I will for the Jets. You can't believe how hard I'm going to be rooting for Chicago to win this game. First of all, I love Justin Fields. I do. I'm a big fan. Love his story, and I want him to be a success really, really badly. But more importantly than that, we all know what's on the line for the Jets. Seattle has that number 1 pick.
That is a great point. Yeah.
If Seattle loses, the better it is for me. But my consolation prize when Seattle wins will be that I picked them.
Yeah.
So
look, they still believe, so they're gonna play every game like they still have a chance.
Oh yeah, Pete Carroll's doesn't throw the towel in ever.
No, never.
So Denver goes into Vegas. Vegas, baby, at 7-7. Both teams need this so bad, right? I mean, they're both hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, this one is tough, honestly. This one is tough. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater he went to the hospital last week because of that play, and he has a concussion. He's in concussion protocol, so I don't think he's going to be playing. So I'm going to have to go with Las Vegas and in that deciding factor. But look, Denver, it's not going to be easy for Las Vegas. It's not going to be easy. Denver has a good defense. They have a great run game, but in the end, I think, just like last week that Vegas fought till the end, I think they're going to fight and win this game.
It's so hard to trust the Raiders because the thing about the Raiders, and I've been living in, the Sacramento area, which is not far from Oakland. And when they were there, and the one thing I learned about them, not that I'm happy about it rubbing in their faces, but having, friends that are Raider fans, is that they, they seem to let them down at the end of every season. It's just like story. They get off to a good start and they're always such bad finishers. But then again, and then there's also Javonte Williams. So who's for the last 4 games, I think, is in like the top 4 in yards from scrimmage.
Yeah, he's really, really good. And they might lean more on him with Bridgewater out, but who do you trust more, Drew Lock or the Raiders? That's what it's coming down to.
Yeah. Man, that's gonna be a really, really tough game.
I think this was my hardest choice, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a toss-up game. It's an even game for betting.
I think whoever loses is basically out. Essentially.
Man, it's so tough. I'm gonna go with the home field advantage.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with the home field advantage.
That's kind of what
experience.
Bridgewater being out and the home field advantage. I think that those were the deciding factors for me.
Yeah. Not easy for me though. Like to go only because, man, like I've watched those fans get burned so often.
Oh, trust me, I know. Family and friends who are diehard Raider fans.
Miami at New Orleans.
Miami at New Orleans. This is a tough one too. Both teams have been fighting all season long.
Yeah, and Taysom Hill might really struggle with that Miami defense with the with the zero cover and all that stuff and the blitzing and.
Yeah, these teams are very similar to me. Like their offenses aren't very prolific. The Saints have Alvin Kamara, who's a game changer, but I just think they both play great defense. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of offense in this game. Yeah.
I think that Miami's streak comes to an end in New Orleans.
Yep, I got the Saints as well. I have. I just think, look what they did to the Bucks last week, and they're going home. So I'm gonna go with the Saints.
And it's not like Miami rolled over the Jets. They didn't. The Jets were in the game until the last drive. And that was with missing their number 1 and 2 wide receiver. That was with missing a very important offensive lineman, their left tackle. The offensive lineman has been their best all year. So the Jets were beat up, and the Jets defense has been decimated, and they didn't roll over us in Miami. They in no way rolled over the Jets. So you think about the Saints shutting down Tom Brady. What is going to happen to Tua?
Oh yeah. And
So-
look, I just realized the Dolphins have won 6 in a row. So they were 1-7.
Yeah.
And they won 6 in a row. Wow. I didn't realize the streak was that long. But yeah, it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
The Saints are playing well too. They won 2 in a row. So yeah.
Yep. So that wraps it up. Those are our picks. Thanks everybody for watching. Jacob, thanks for joining me.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm thinking next week maybe I'll have John post with you at the same time if you're both available. Get 2
that'd be
fantasy
cool.
guys. Yeah. Maybe you guys can get to know each other a little bit. You both do fantasy stuff and maybe
Always
collaborate.
down for that.
Always good to meet new people, right? So yeah, I kind of think it would be interesting to have maybe 3 perspectives. We'll test it out. But thanks for being on. Tell them one more time about your website and let everybody know.
Yeah, so you can head over to YouTube and go to youtube.com/first-round-fantasy. We do a weekly podcast. And for those of you who play a dynasty football or dynasty fantasy football, where it's like a year-long thing, after the season ends, we're going to take about a month off, but then we start diving really into dynasty and looking forward to the draft and all that stuff. So come check us out, youtube.com/first-round-fantasy. And all I want to say is, go Niners, baby. We got to get this win.
And I'll be back on with Green Bean probably a little bit tomorrow. I'll definitely be backstage on his show at Green Bean, Jets fan. And I'll also be probably most likely, we never make it official, but it seems to happen every week. I'll be doing the watch party with Green Bean on Jets Nation.
Nice.
And then I'll be doing a NFL Red Zone watch party with my brother after that for the late games on Sunday afternoon. There's 3 exciting games there that we'll be calling. And I'll give you a little taste of that right now to end the show so you can see what that watch party is like. Jacob, thanks again.
No
And
problem.
I'll see you next week.
Oh yeah, go. Amazing, that's my boy.
Breaks away from a sack and completes the pass for first down.
Oh, Kittle just may have made the most amazing catch.
He fights for the first down and gets out of bounds too.
It's no good.
Overtime.
Oh, what a catch. How do you drop that? What are you, Jamal Adams? Touchdown.
This is a touchdown all the way.
He reached over the pylon. San Francisco beat Cincinnati.